What up, everybody? The final episode of Power Book Force is just about here, so this is my final predictions video before the finale, going over what I think could happen and how this chapter will end, not just for Tommy, but the other characters that we've been introduced to through the Force series as well. Starting out with Gennard taking over CBI and holding the coalition meeting that we see in the episode 10 trailer, where he says, y'all gotta pick a side and pick it now. I think Gennard is definitely gonna catch a body or two at this meeting to make an example that anyone that isn't with him or anyone who isn't against Tommy Egan is against him. I think Gennard will take out Izzy, the new leader of the DSDs who took over after the death of Chavo Cardina. And I also think he'll likely take out Raheem, even though with Raheem it's a little complicated because I think Raheem will be a key factor in this episode because the fact he's Shanti's mole and Gennard knows it. So he could just kill him, or he could use this to his advantage to set up Tommy and Shanti, like how Tommy used Vic to set up Claudia in season 2. So with that said, I think Gennard will either trick Raheem or kill him and contact Shanti from Raheem's phone with information in order to set her and Tommy up. I think this will result in the death of both Shanti and Raheem, and this could also be the scene from the episode 10 trailer where Tommy is getting ambushed by 3 guys from CBI before they all get picked off one by one. And we also know that Tommy is going to call in a favor this episode, and I believe that's going to be Tariq, and that could potentially be who ends up saving Tommy in that scene when Smiley and the other guys from CBI are closing in on him. We also know that JP's funeral takes place this episode, and from a behind the scenes picture from episode 10, we can confirm that JP's father Herman will be in this episode at the funeral. So it'll be very interesting to see him and Kate in a scene together, and also to see how he reacts to JP's death. And I'm really looking forward to D-Mac meeting his grandfather. And I'm glad that D-Mac is going to have some family other than Tommy and Kate, someone who is more stable. But with that said, we also know that Gennard is going to be waiting outside of this funeral, ready to spray it up like it's 1992, not caring about who's out there. So because of that, Gennard could turn this funeral into a red funeral with a major death taking place at the funeral. But with that said, after seeing the images from episode 10 and one particular image of Miguel and Tommy, it makes me question if Gennard actually goes through with it. Maybe he changes his mind, or maybe he gets stopped in some type of way before he gets the chance to spray it up. But in regards to Gennard coming for Tommy, we also know that he'll make an alliance with Vic Flynn as well. But we now know from the episode 10 pictures that Vic Flynn did leave to go to wherever him and Ray were going on that jet. So after leaving Chicago, Vic's gonna return and team up with Gennard. Vic is now free from being a snitch after he gave a written testimony in regards to Tommy getting to Stacy Marks to sing in episode 9. And Bobby DeFranco also figured out the saying was in the Marquez Cartel pocket. So I think DeFranco will confront Sang, which will ultimately lead to DeFranco getting killed, or it could also result in Sang getting locked up along with Roberto Ortega getting locked up again, keeping in mind that the judge left the feds leave to refile the RICO case. Right now, Tommy and Miguel are also coming for Ortega after getting the green light from Che to go after him in episode 9. But the wild card with this storyline is Taichin Chan, and I wouldn't be surprised if he takes out both Sang and DeFranco, and that Chan, Ortega, and Madame Wu all survive into the next spinoff, as they could look to expand into other cities and could pop up again as a problem for either Tommy or Tariq in Legacy. And if Tommy and Miguel don't eliminate Ortega, they're going to be under even more pressure from Che. And in regards to Che, also keep in mind that there's that secret about Miguel killing his son to take over the IPs that will likely also get exposed this episode as well. Miguel's number 2, Cruz, could end up betraying him, which could result in Miguel getting eliminated by Che. Something else to keep in mind is that Cruz got busted with those 5 bricks earlier in the season and could also be working with the feds to get his charges dropped, which could result in Miguel and Che getting locked up. But I also think that the favor Tommy could be calling Tariq about could have something to do with Che. Maybe Tommy will use Tariq to take out Che for him and Miguel, since Che wouldn't see Tariq coming. But I think that both Miguel and Che end up getting taken out this episode unless, like I said, Cruz sets them up to go to jail. But in regards to somebody getting locked up, I definitely think that somebody is getting locked up this episode. Keep it in mind that IMDb listing I've reported about a character named Kiana, described to be a prison visitor. And my prediction for who's getting locked up, even though it could be multiple characters getting locked up this episode, but I also think that Jannard Sampson will end up going to prison, because I think Jannard will survive this series, and this is most likely the only way this would happen, to where Tommy and D-Mac can't get to him. If Jannard gets locked up, it'd probably be for something to do with the Fetty and the deaths that have taken place after connecting with Madame Wu and leaving his fingerprints on the baggie when Joey died, with Jannard ultimately going to prison for the same thing that Diamond did. In regards to Vic Flynn, I think he's going to end up at the top at the end of the series and become the new Walter. And I got a lot of hate in the comments when I made a video talking about that the other day, but this isn't what I want to happen, but it's what I think is gonna happen, because personally I've been wanting Vic to get murked since season 1, but I think all the clues indicate he'll be running the north side in Walter's place at the end of the series, because of the parallels to him and Tariq. They both grew up rich and grew a hatred for their fathers, either though for different reasons. They each killed their fathers, not wanting to be anything like them. And as Tariq ended the Book 2 series, becoming the new Ghost and the biggest drug dealer in New York City, I think Vic is going to end the 4th series as the new Walter, taking back control of the north side of Chicago. As for D-Mac, like I've been saying since episode 2, my prediction for him is that he's going to end up in Atlanta with Genesis going to school. And after Jannard goes to prison, I think CBI will be ran by Bones and Smurf. We also know from the episode 10 description that a shocking secret will be revealed in episode 10 as well. I made a video talking about this in detail yesterday. Make sure to go on my page and check out that video if you haven't yet. But now we potentially have a clue about what that secret could be, as one of the episode 10 pictures shows Tommy reading a letter. This looks like it's at JP's old house where he's reading this letter. So this could potentially be a letter he's reading from Kate, revealing a secret. Because like I talked about in that video I made yesterday, Kate has been one of the main secret bearers of the Power Universe. I also mentioned in a video last week the possibility of Mireya leaving Chicago to go to Mexico and only leaving behind a note. And this could potentially be what Tommy is reading in that picture, even though I question if that letter is from Mireya, because the fact he's reading it at JP's old house. In the last episode, they went to stay at Miguel's in Little Village for protection. getting me to how will it end for Tommy since we know he's gonna be leaving Chicago at the end of this episode. If that note is from Mireya, he could end up leaving Chicago to go look for her and his child. Or they could all end up leaving together and Tommy could get arrested before they leave and extradited back to New York. But the Power IG shared a post the other day potentially giving a clue about where Tommy goes next, as they shared the first scene of Tommy in Chicago getting a call from California, and the caption read, "The side quest that became the main story." This could definitely be a tease that Tommy heads to where he was originally going to go before making that stop in Chicago, and that would be California. And I think the closing scenes of this episode will give us a glimpse into what's next for the Power universe on the present day timeline, showing Tommy whether he's looking for Mireya in jail or in California. It will show D-Mac going to school, like how OG Power showed Tariq going to school in the final scenes. And I think there will also be a clip of Tariq that teases his next chapter, with Braden Weston most likely with him, as well as something that reintroduces both Rashad Tate and the Civello mob back into the storyline, as the Power IG page in the last week or so has shared a Councilman Tate post and a post that said, "Justice for Joe," potentially teasing those returns. And last but not least, I think we could get a 10 to 20 second appearance of Ghost returning and being revealed to be alive in the credit scene. I'm not saying it's now or never, but what better time than the present? So I think if they were gonna bring Ghost back, it definitely makes the most sense to bring him back in the credit scene to build up the hype for the next spinoff. And there you have it. Leave your thoughts, theories, and predictions in the comments.